later, big dog. I never knew that lavender worked with brown, but it does when you put it on, big dog.
It does, especially shoulder watch, shoulder watch. Next contract. Let's get started with college basketball. Yep, I said it. Baylor dominated Gonzaga last night on the way to their first national championship. The Bears never trailed in the game and ended Gonzaga's bid for a perfect season. Jared Butler scored 22 points and was named the tournament's most outstanding player. So, Acho, were you more impressed with Baylor or disappointed in the Zags?
So, hard for me to answer this question because the two aren't mutually exclusive, right? They both exist at the same time.
Okay.
I'm incredibly impressed with Baylor. Shout out to them cats from Waco, Texas. I got to drive through Waco every time I go from Dallas to Austin. They deserve this one.
This is the first time you've mentioned Baylor all year, including last year when they started the season. And you're from Texas. Just want that to be stated.
Shout out to them Baylor Bears, even though they technically Big 12 rivals. No, respect to them. But I'm going to start with how I'm disappointed in Gonzaga.
Oh, come on, not you,
I'm going to start there, Sel, because the biggest thing in sports is handling emotions. I'm going to put y'all on game. Sports isn't just how talented you are, but it's about handling the highs and tolerating the lows. It's about not letting one play beat you twice. And it's about not letting a victory cost you another victory. And I think that's what we saw with Gonzaga. Big dog, one of the greatest Final Four victories of all time, how they beat UCLA in overtime. Jalen Suggs, walk-off tray, calls game, jumps on the scorer's table. He said he always wanted his Kobe Bryant moment, his Dwayne Wade moment. So I was like, yeah, they did that. But you know what they say. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. And Suggs and Timmy were the big-time players in the championship game. They were supposed to be the big-time players. They were riding the hot streak coming off that big win over UCLA. Those two players were riding that hot streak. Yes, Gonzaga has some other dogs, but who were the big-time players in that moment? It was Suggs and Timmy. And what happened to those big-time players in that big-time game? The moment I feel like they tried to force it, instead of letting the game come to them. Suggs, 2 fouls by the 17-minute mark in the first half. 2 fouls, and now you sat down, you on a game 3, early turnovers. Where they do that at? Timmy, you have 4 early fouls by the 10-minute mark in the second half. You had 4 turnovers. Where do they do that at, Sel? Big-time players, big-time plays, big-time games. Now, I understand the issue. My sophomore year in college, I'm playing in a national championship game.
There you go again. You had one good year. Okay.
Texas had one good year. I was there.
That's all I hear about this sophomore year. What about the other 3 years, damn it?
Experience, expertise. My point is this.
What?
I've been in a situation where you're about to play in a national championship game. So before the game, you're in your bedroom that night thinking, okay, I'm going to hit the game-winning shot. I'm going to be the hero. I'm going to make the bucket that we ride off into the sunset on. Then you get into the game. And you start to get a little nervous, start to feel those jitters. I understand what happened to Gonzaga. And that's why I'm a little disappointed in them, because it's like, hey, y'all can't let the UCLA game, y'all can't let the euphoria of that moment still ride into this game and now be what cost you. Now, I'm going to talk about why I sing Baylor's praises next, but early on, the team that had the opportunity to go undefeated for the first time in like 46 years, you got to find a way to get it done.
Oh, okay. I disagree with you because you wanted to talk about the losers. Oh, I'm so disappointed in the Zags. Winners and losers. You know why winners comes first? Because that's what you're supposed to focus in on. I'm impressed with the Baylor Bears, not just in a micro sense of them winning the national championship this year, but in a macro sense, just talking about the program in general. Go back to 2003. Go way back to when they were having some scandals on the team, murder charges between teammates, etc. 4-win seasons. You're talking about a team with sanctions. I mean, at the bottom of the barrel. And they've climbed all the way from those lowly points to this moment right here. It culminates here. But what I saw yesterday in the micro sense was desire on display, was dedication, all those corny cliches we see in the high school weight room, college weight room, I would say in this sense, of how you go out there and exude what you really feel and what you really believe. There's a difference between what I saw Gonzaga trying to do, which is live up to the expectations that they created themselves of being perfect, versus Baylor. Like, oh, y'all don't think we're supposed to be here, or we're underdogs. Oh, that team's supposed to be better than us. Well, let's show you why we're better than them. This is how they executed. They went out there and played swarming defense. Before Gonzaga could blink, it was 9-0. Now, in college basketball, that's like 27-0, like dog-year scores. And then all of a sudden, you saw the defense swarming, taking one of the most efficient offenses we've seen in NCAA history out of this flow. You know how this goes. When we go out there, we are supposed to think before we get out there so we can react off instinct when we're on the field, on the court. What happened yesterday was Baylor said, whatever you're thinking, whatever your second nature is, we're going to disrupt that. Now we're going to see how you respond to that. They couldn't respond. Baylor swarming defense stopped them at the three-point line. Even though they shot, well, 51% from the field, whatever, 14 turnovers. That swarming defense, the offensive rebound, second chance points, all those desires on display is why Baylor was the winner.
Big dog, offensive rebounds. Let's go there. Let's park there for a minute. You don't have to play basketball in the NBA. You don't have to play basketball in college. You really don't even have to play basketball beyond middle school to understand that rebounds is a little bit about want to, right? Like when you're talking about rebounds, yes, the two factors of rebounding, athleticism to a degree, you got to be able to get up, and then also just want to. So you ain't got to look much further in this game than the discrepancy in boards to see who wanted it more. And it's no slight of Gonzaga, but just Baylor, they wanted that joint. Like, they were playing like they really knew this was their moment. You might not get another moment. Think about it. You out-rebound Gonzaga, what was it, 38-22. And then on the offensive glass, you take them out 16-5. That's all just want to. But, Sal, what was most impressive, like, Baylor chose a great day to have a great day. Like, sometimes I love when the stars align. Like, they chose a great day to have a great day. You start out 5 for 5 from 3. Like, Gonzaga was already sleepwalking, and you went ahead and you put the nail in the coffin. And then you end up going 10 for 23 from 3. Like, you chose a great day to have a great day. And then they three dogs. Maceo, Teague, Butler had 56 of their 86 points. Meanwhile, again, the two stars for Gonzaga, Timmy and Suggs, had 8 of their turnovers. It was night and day. The cats for Baylor came ready to play. The dudes from Gonzaga woke up, but it was too little too late. And what I will say I love the most, just as an athlete, you have a tendency to sleepwalk. You up by 17, you take your foot off the gas. You up by 12 still, you take your foot off the gas. So you looked in the eyes of the Baylor Bears the whole night, and it was like locked in the entire time. Locked in, locked in, locked in. To me, that was probably the most impressive feat of the night. But let's bring in an analyst of basketball, Slick Rick the Bucher, to see where